Elon Musk is one of the biggest names in the world, a businessman with unparalleled success and a bank account to show for it, and Bitcoin is one of the most exciting technological inventions of the last 30 years, a worldwide phenomenon that has altered the way people buy, spend, and invest. It stands a chance to radically change the world for generations to come. You would think that two major game changers like Musk and Bitcoin would go hand in hand together and would have a long, storied relationship. But in reality, Elon Musk and Bitcoin haven't always seen eye to eye. Although the mogul has praised the concept and has even championed certain cryptocurrencies to great success, he's always had some serious reservations about the way that cryptocurrency works, and has actually gone back on his own words recently about letting people buy Tesla cars with crypto. What is it about crypto and Bitcoin that gets under Musk's skin in such a profound way? And more importantly, what's he gonna do about it? But before we dig into today's video and what irks Musk about the future of cryptocurrency, we've actually got to discuss what it is, how it works, and why so many people are downright gaga for it. If you know anyone who believes in cryptocurrency, you know that people are fanatical about it and its importance. Why is that exactly? First, some basics. Bitcoin is a digital currency that exists solely on the internet. You will never hold a Bitcoin in your hand because all forms of cryptocurrency only live online. Now, you can choose to use it like traditional money. In fact, there are countless places where you can actually buy and sell goods and services with your crypto online. Did you know that you can buy airline tickets with Bitcoin and other cryptos? Did you know that you could furnish your home with items from Overstock.com with it? You can even order pizza with Bitcoin. The number of options that consumers have is big, and it's only growing. Bitcoin was only just created back in 2008, but it's already shaken up the world of finance and business in some startling ways. Buying with Bitcoin, it's a bit like buying with the future of money. However, a lot of people use cryptocurrency and Bitcoin as an investment tool as well. Like Wall Street, the cryptocurrency market has ample opportunity to make some money for hungry investors. People simply buy into a coin of their choice and watch as its value rises and falls. The crypto market has become a massive industry in the years since its inception, and now there are people making literally millions of dollars just by finding the right coins to invest in. Other people make money off of cryptocurrency by doing something called crypto mining. And that's the thing that's ruffling our friend Elon Musk's feathers. Mining is a complicated process, one we could talk about for hours, but essentially, it is a long procedure that finds an immense network of computers all over the world running an incredibly lengthy code, which holds extra data from every single Bitcoin transaction in the world. This constantly growing code is run through all of the computers so that it can be read and verified for accuracy. This process is called mining and results in new Bitcoin blocks, which are then added to the growing blockchain code. The first computer to verify the latest round of numbers is rewarded with a Bitcoin, which can fetch the owner upwards of $30,000 to $40,000 or even $50,000. It's all worth it in the end, but as you can see, it's a complex system. It is also very energy-centric. These are not just regular computers running mining operations though, they're called rigs, and don't resemble the PC that you've got at home. They eat up a bunch of energy and put a massive strain on the electrical grid they're hooked up to. In fact, some Bitcoin miners spend thousands of dollars a month solely on the power that their mining rigs will gobble up. It's been estimated that Bitcoin mining uses as much electricity annually as the entire country of the Netherlands. So there's just no way that Elon Musk can fully throw his support behind cryptocurrency, as cool as it is, if he's using so much energy. Remember, Elon cares about the environment, and that is why he runs the largest electric vehicle company on Earth. Musk's position on cryptocurrency is firm now, but it hasn't always been that way. In fact, back in the March of 2012, Musk shocked the world when he said that he would begin accepting Bitcoin as a payment for his vehicles. This was one of the biggest events in Bitcoin history and drove the value of the coin up, because it showed that another major company and its world-class CEO believed in it. The March announcement came after months and months of Musk occasionally talking about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and, more specifically, a certain crypto coin called Dogecoin that, yes, is a legit coin. Musk is no stranger to cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, and Tesla's decision to take it as a payment confirmed that. However, the joy from Tesla's announcement didn't last long. Only months later, Tesla reserved their stance and also stopped selling the more than $1.5 billion of Bitcoin it had purchased. In a statement, Musk said that the company is concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which has the worst emissions of any fuel. Musk went on to praise crypto, saying that it's a good idea on many levels, and we believe it has a promising future, but cannot come at a great cost to the environment. Now, Musk isn't alone in his worries about how much energy Bitcoin mining consumes. American Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen also stated that the process requires a staggering amount of power, while certain areas of China have actually shut down all cryptocurrency mining because of the energy consumption it causes. As Bitcoin and crypto become more and more popular, and the call for a green solution becomes louder and louder, this problem is only going to grow. But what can be done about it? Well, Elon Musk is certain a solution can be found. That's why recently Musk and MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor had a meeting with leading Bitcoin miners in North America in order to form a new group called the Bitcoin Mining Council. The goal of the council is to promote energy use, transparency, and, notably, accelerate sustainability in the world of mining and cryptocurrency. Musk himself was very happy with the meeting and the results from it, saying that it was potentially promising. Some of the people involved with the council, including cryptocurrency mastermind Peter Wall, were very enthusiastic about what lies ahead for Bitcoin and sustainability. With some of the biggest names in the industry involved, there is hope that something major can be done. Yet we don't know what steps will be taken to give Bitcoin mining a smaller carbon footprint. It will require a radical reworking of pretty much every aspect of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole. But, as Musk has said, something needs to be done because the future of crypto cannot subtract from the future of the planet. And it feels like time could start to run out for Bitcoin if nothing is done. Politicians, voters, and consumers are becoming less and less tolerant of companies and industries that don't look out for Earth and don't have a plan to help the environment, rather simply take from it. That is one of the biggest reasons why Tesla has become such a massive disruptor and one of the largest companies around. People love their cars, it's true, but they also love what Tesla stands for, and the fact that its main goal is to provide sustainable energy for automobiles. If Bitcoin miners don't really come together and come up with some concrete plans, there's a chance that governments all over the world are going to propose and pass legislation that limits the power and ability of Bitcoin. They wouldn't be doing this just because they don't like Bitcoin. They would be doing this for the good of the planet. It's understandable why Elon Musk has a problem with Bitcoin mining. He's repeatedly fought for the planet and its environment again and again. At the same time, it's also understandable why he wants Bitcoin to find a quick solution to this issue and continue to thrive. Musk knows a good thing when he sees it, and he comprehends the power and potential of Bitcoin. He also believes in the people behind it, the people who invest so much effort and time into making cryptocurrency so worthwhile. Elon Musk knows that these people can come up with an answer that pleases crypto investors and those who care about the health of our world. Elon Musk wasn't wrong when he praised cryptocurrency and all it can do, but he also wasn't wrong when he said, "Nothing is more important than treating the environment right." The hope is that an agreeable answer is right around the corner, and that soon, Bitcoin and Tesla will be joined together again, and everyone, including planet Earth, can be happy. When you think of Elon Musk, you don't really think of an educator, do you? While his work has inspired and taught millions of people all over the world, he isn't seen as someone who focuses on schooling and students. However, one of his most revolutionary ideas has nothing to do with flying into space or building sustainable cars. No, one of his most important creations is actually a school, believe it or not. Elon Musk has seen a need to change so many industries already. So what made him dip his toe into the educational system? Most importantly, what's next for this brand new type of schooling, and will it catch on across the country and the world? Like many other parents across the globe, Elon Musk saw the deficiencies in the current educational system. So instead of just complaining about it, he decided to put his money where his mouth is and try to change things. And his ideas might end up going much further than he ever imagined. In 2016, Musk and his team at SpaceX created a homeschooling program for the children of SpaceX employees. The experimental school was created at one of the SpaceX factories in California, and was founded as a way to educate the children closest to Musk and his team. Indeed, Elon's own children were some of the founding students. The main goal of this new school, called Ad Astra, Latin for To the Stars, was to teach a system that is much more in line with the world that modern students grow up in. The reality that children today are raised in is vastly different from the reality their parents or grandparents came of age in. Take a look at computers, for example. A computer from even 10 years ago doesn't even resemble what one is today. In fact, today, people carry around a smartphone or tablet that is widely more powerful than a computer from just a decade ago. Times have changed, and schooling should reflect the environment, culture, and technology of the modern age. That is the concept behind Ad Astra, and everything it stands for: a modern school for modern students. So, what does Ad Astra consider modern school? According to the school, they are focused on the reality these children will face in the future. It does so by having students work hard on learning about simulations, fabrication, and design projects, labs, case studies, and more. One of the main things that Ad Astra advertises on its site is the idea that it enables students to solve for the unknown. The school claims that it redesigns itself yearly based upon the needs and interests of the students. According to the school's website, they apply the lessons learned from every project, lab, and discussion to inform our next move. That definitely doesn't sound like teaching to a test, does it? Ad Astra's biggest desire is to move away from the strict, rigid structure that has slowed down most schools across the world. Ad Astra doesn't want to do things the same way, year after year. Instead, the school looks to evolve and enhance itself annually with the students that it is educating. Creating individual abilities, praising curiosity, and encouraging problem solving and critical thinking are all of the main features of the Ad Astra school. That's the sort of philosophy that you can see creating a smart, engaged member of society, and maybe the next Elon Musk. What does a typical day of schooling at Ad Astra look like? Is there a homeroom, recess, and lunch like normal schools? Well, not exactly. You see, Ad Astra doesn't perform like a normal school in any way. The school has a heavy emphasis on conversation, debate, and deep thinking. The kids at the school debate real-world situations and problems, and then pick apart heavy concepts such as ethics in business and artificial intelligence. They also stimulate their brains and learn new things through the use of robots and live team games. If a student finds that they're drawn to a particular subject, such as writing, digital art, technology, and design, they're encouraged to pursue that and take courses that will help foster that love. Again, you can see that individuality is a major facet of the Ad Astra school. And what do students get for their time at the school? While they definitely receive a once-in-a-lifetime educational experience, they don't receive something that nearly every other student on Earth does: a grade. That's right, there's no grades at Ad Astra. This was one of Elon Musk's principal ideas when he was founding the school. He didn't want to follow a traditional grading system like all other schooling systems do. He felt that the idea of applying grades to a student didn't benefit them in any way, and wasn't an accurate way to define what they'd learned during their time at Ad Astra. While the original Ad Astra school was only located at the SpaceX facility in California, it's now evolved to become so much more. That's because a few years after Ad Astra enrolled its first students, Astronova School was born. Astronova, or New Star in Latin, is a not-for-profit independent school located out of Los Angeles, but also accessible from anywhere in the world via the internet. It takes the basic tenets and concepts behind Ad Astra and blossoms them into even more. It follows the same pillars of focusing on the individual student experience and preparing them for a real world unlike the one that their parents grew up in. Like Ad Astra before it, Astronova doesn't do things like a typical school. Again, the innovative and unique approach to learning is applied to all students, with a learning environment that encourages growth and changes depending on the desires and interests of the students enrolled. Any student between the ages of 9 to 14 from anywhere on Earth can apply to be a part of Astronova. Its experimental educational experience is available via the web, meaning their exciting courses can be accessed anywhere with an internet connection. And while the original Ad Astra school was started and paid for by Elon Musk, Astronova has nothing to do with the Tesla founder. While he still greatly encourages Astronova and sings its praises whenever he gets the chance, he isn't tied to it aside from initial funding. Now, if you are looking to get your child involved in Astronova school, you might need to save up. The tuition for a single student is $7,500 for the full year, and classes only meet on Thursdays, if you can believe it. That's a lot of money for very little class time, but as Musk and others have said, nothing about Ad Astra and its offspring, Astronova, is traditional, including the price tag. For generations, students and parents alike have longed for a schooling system that's treated students differently and nurtured their curiosity and sensibilities, and actually made school stimulating and fun. They wanted something totally brand new and revolutionary. No wonder Elon Musk was the first one to give it to them. Brand new and revolutionary is what he does best. Deep in the heart of South Texas, Elon Musk's SpaceX is hard at work creating the next generation of space travel. Called Starship, their top-of-the-line, one-of-a-kind spaceship is unlike anything else that's come before it. It's going to be 30 feet in diameter, 180 feet tall, and powered by the trademarked Super Heavy launch vehicle, which will propel Starship into space with the assistance of 31 Raptor engines. With the Starship and the Super Heavy combined, the craft will be the tallest, heaviest, and most powerful space rocket that has ever graced the stars. But the creation is more than just a record breaker. Perhaps the most amazing thing about Starship is the fact that it's totally reusable, unlike the spaceships of yesteryear created by NASA. The ability to reuse this ship is really what sets it apart and will make it much more financially enticing for SpaceX and any other space agencies. To call Starship a modern marvel of engineering would be an understatement. It really does set the bar high for the future of flying through space. Generations of spaceships and prototypes have all led up to this creation, and yet Elon Musk isn't satisfied with Starship. Even though his company is producing something revolutionary and ahead of its time, Musk is already looking ahead to the next iteration of Starship. In fact, he's recently hinted at the concept of an even bigger Starship model, as well as special variants of the ship that would be capable of point-to-point travel on Earth, cargo shipments, and trips to the Moon and Mars. We haven't even been formally introduced to the first version of Starship, so what exactly do these future updates have in store for us? What does Musk and his team have in mind when they think about what comes next for their iconic Starship vehicles? The idea behind Starship is that it's going to be a space vessel capable of transporting cargo and people. The dream is that the Starship will be able to carry about 100 passengers. While trips around the planet would be most likely, Musk envisions Starship as the craft that will take people to Mars. The basic construction and concept of the Starship is so attractive that NASA has tasked SpaceX with creating a few models for them. From passengers to payloads and satellites and cargo, it's all going to be carried with total ease, and that is just a part of the appeal of Starship. Starship is essentially following through on the promise of SpaceX, allowing humans to travel the universe and making life multiplanetary in the process. It's a major step forward, just like the NASA ships of the 60s and 70s. Simply put, Starship has truly changed the game and has made certain aspects of space travel, such as reusability and commercial travel, much more viable. While you would think that the great feats and size of Starship would be enough, it seems like Musk is already a few steps ahead. In August of 2019, the SpaceX founder cryptically posted, "Probably 18 meters for next generation system." What exactly does that mean? Musk is suggesting that the later evolutions of Starship will be 18 meters or 60 feet wide. That's a big rocket, which means it will come with more power, more thrust, more capabilities. Imagine what doubling the diameter of the Starship could do. It could hold more passengers and carry more cargo. It could even break more records. But it's not just the diameter of the ship that would also be increased. If Starship 2.0 goes from 9 to 18 meters, its height would likely be greatly altered too. You would have to remember that spacecrafts have to maintain a measured and balanced height to width ratio. Therefore, there's a good chance that this new edition of Musk's Starship could come in at 780 feet tall. This will make the Starship sequel the tallest and widest spaceship ever made. How on earth then would a ship like this be able to get off the ground? It's going to require a lot of power, that's for sure. The Raptor engines that are currently being modded for the first Starship would definitely not be enough to get this behemoth into space. That means that a new generation of Starship would demand a new version of the engine too. If the ship even tried to use modern day Raptor engines, it would need more than 100. That's just not feasible. Even if the craft relied upon the most powerful single-chamber rocket engine ever created, the Saturn V's F1, it would still need more than 60. In all likelihood, any new version of Starship will be created alongside new versions of Raptor engines. Anything less just wouldn't be able to handle the mass of Starship 2.0. What would this jaw-dropping juggernaut of a spaceship be capable of? Possibly anything. If 100 passengers are planned for Starship 1.0, you can bet that 200 will be aboard 2.0. Any trips to carry cargo or any sort of items would be faster and more efficient too, saving money for SpaceX or any company that buys or rents a Starship. A Starship that is doubled in size will be able to accommodate more passengers and make them much more comfortable too. As of now, Musk has said the initial Starship will make a journey to Mars or anywhere in space an enjoyable, casual, and relaxing experience. Musk has mentioned that the ship will allow access to movies, lectures, restaurants, and of course, zero-gravity games. If Starship size is greatly increased, the amenities on board would likely be as well. Let's be honest, a trip through space probably feels pretty constrictive and possibly claustrophobic. If SpaceX manufactured a large Starship, there will be much more space to roam, as passengers approach the moon, Mars, and even beyond. While Musk is already planning on a larger, more powerful Starship, his company is also hard at work on multiple iterations of the vehicle, capable of moving cargo and making travel on Earth even easier. You've heard that right, SpaceX is planning transportation right here on our planet. Codenamed Earth Starship, this version of the craft will put a tremendous strain on airlines because it would aim to move people around the planet at record-breaking speed. How would this work? The Starship would launch for some major metropolitan location, ascend to the atmosphere up above the Earth, traverse across the curvature of the planet, and then descend and land on the complete opposite side of Earth. Because of the nature of this journey, it would take no time at all. Currently, it takes about 21 hours for a commercial airliner to travel from America to Sydney, Australia. But if you're flying on board the Earth Starship, you'd be making that journey in just 50 minutes. That's right, you can fly across the entire span of Earth in less than an hour. The same method would also be used for point-to-point shipments too. A company in Asia could transport specific goods and products across the planet within just an hour or two. You can see how almost any industry will benefit from this type of shipping. You can also see how the airline industry would be totally turned on its head if SpaceX started to employ Starship in this process. In fact, there is a chance that SpaceX could put a few airlines out of business, especially if they make this sort of travel affordable. However, airlines and businesses could get in on the action too. They would also be able to create contracts with SpaceX and use the technology themselves. Imagine if UPS or any other sort of shipping company got their hands on the power of SpaceX point-to-point shipping. Obviously, the plan for this sort of travel with Starship is more than just a few years off. Firstly, SpaceX will be needing to finish making the ship. Secondly, they would need to create launch sites all over the world, but in the meantime, SpaceX isn't done. They are also planning versions of the Starship that are capable of traveling to sought-after interstellar locations. As of now, SpaceX is planning to create a lunar Starship for 2024. This craft is part of a contract deal with NASA for their Artemis program. Artemis will put Americans back on the moon and is the first major collaboration between NASA and commercial and international partners. It is also seen as an important stepping stone to humans landing on Mars. SpaceX and NASA have come together to get people back on the moon, and they will do so using a specifically made lunar model of the Starship. Starship has yet to take its inaugural flight, but it's already turning heads and changing the entire space travel industry. The way that humans take to the stars is being radically transformed by this groundbreaking innovation from SpaceX. Still, it is very obvious that much more is needed to come for Starship. Not only are there models developed for travel to the moon and right here on Earth, but there's also larger, more powerful, and more amazing starships that are being cultivated by the minds of Musk and his crew. Starship 2.0 will double the size and double the might. Records broken by the first Starship will be shattered again by its successor. It just goes to show that SpaceX isn't slowing down, and they certainly aren't resting on their laurels. The only thing more impressive than what they've already created is what they're going to think up next.